right. It looks like we are live. What is going on, BriHive? We are back for yet another BriHive live stream. We have just been kind of Tuesday, Thursday, trying to figure out what day we want to stream. We are not streaming on Thursday this week because it is 4th of July. So for those Americans that have the day off, hopefully you have a great Independence Day for America. Yeah, there's that. And then, so we're streaming today, and we're going to be introducing a new case to the channel. We have Dak Prescott, who is an NFL football player for the Dallas Cowboys, is suing his accuser for her accusing him of essaying her. So she basically tried to extort him. And I kind of find this case to be something like maybe a new Clayton Echard in the making, but maybe not so much because it's SA, it's not a pregnancy. Although we know Laura accused Clayton of SA. Either way it goes, it's another high-profile male being accused by someone of doing something to them. And I put in the caption ex-girlfriend, but it's not his ex-girlfriend. It looks like it's just somebody that he hooked up with. But after going through Clayton Echard and Laura Owens, sometimes hookups turn into pregnancies and or boyfriend-girlfriend situations. So we are just using the ex-girlfriend line to troll YouTube for the algorithm. So we are going to introduce that case. Let me know in the chat if you guys have heard about this case. It came out like a month or two ago, so we are a little bit late covering it. Oh no, gosh, it came out 3 months ago, and I think she had even filed hers before that. But either way it goes, we're late covering it, but we're going to get into the details of it. Kimmy is getting a timeline together for us because I'm not all the way familiar with the case. I'm a little bit familiar with the case. And yeah, we'll jump right into it. If you are watching live, go ahead and drop in the comment section. Let me know that you're watching live. I noticed that there is a bunch of people that are live right now talking about a lot of the crazy cases that have been going on over the last few weeks. A lot of them are coming to an end right now. We got Karen Reed, a mistrial. Isn't that insane? Then we got Young Thug's judge basically getting pushed off to the side. So that's interesting. I haven't looked all the way into that, but I do have the transcripts and I do want to go over it. But since I haven't been keeping up with the case, well, I guess I'm not keeping up with this case that well either. But that case is so long to try to catch back up to for the Young Thug trial. But I do have the transcripts and I do want to read them and kind of give y'all a summary. I know I think lawyer is currently just reading I don't know if he's just reading the transcript, but I did see him live talking about the transcript for what happened in that ex parte hearing that resulted in the judge basically getting booted from the case. I don't know if he's booted from the case all the way yet, or if they just kind of paused the proceedings still. I just saw it. So I saw it like a couple of days ago, but I didn't really look into it that deeply yet. So yeah, it's a lot going on. I believe Courtney Clenny just had a hearing last week. I have not looked at it. I was anticipating that hearing like all week. And then when the day of the hearing hit, I had my own hearing and then I forgot all about it. And we streamed talking about Clayton Echard, talking about Laura Owens on Clayton Echard. So I haven't had time to review the Courtney Clenny case. So if you guys know anything about any of those 3 cases that I just mentioned, feel free to go ahead and drop it in the comments what you think, or drop in the chat what you think about what's going on with those cases. Anyways, we are going to go ahead and set our like goal for the stream. We are at 14 likes with 14 people watching live. So that is pretty even. But if you have not hit the like button, please do. It does help us out in the algorithm and helps us get more friends watching in the live stream. And then also watching on the replay. If we're popping while live, we'll be popping on the replay for the most part. Either way it goes, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. We'll go ahead and make our like goal for the stream. We'll go 60 likes because this case is not as popular as the case of Clayton Echard, so we may not have as many friends with us here during the live, but that's okay. We are going to say hi to the people that did decide to come live, the OGs of the channel, right? The OGs. So let's get Bossy B in here. All right, so we have IB0093 saying hi, hello, and welcome back to the live stream. Nice to have you tonight. Oh, let me actually mention, we had a members live stream last Thursday and nobody joined. So members of the channel, The members live streams are for you guys to give me your opinion. And I thought that Clayton Echard trial was pretty interesting and you guys are pretty into it, but nobody wanted to join me on the members live stream. It's all good, but I did want to point that out. We did have our members live stream for June. No one joined me, okay? We got Geriatric, love the name, saying hi there. Hello and welcome into the live stream. We got Jumag, I think Jumag, I said it exactly the same. Hi, never heard of this case. Sounds interesting. Hello and welcome into the live stream. We got Nissa Howard saying hi, member of the channel. Hello, welcome back into the live stream. Hello to you. We have IV0093 saying me neither. And this case came out a few months ago. It was filed in March, but I did see a couple people cover it. I was going to cover it when it first came out, but I forgot what was going on at that time that I just did not have. I think that's when Gutierrez Reed was still going on. I could be lying. Was she going on at that time? I don't remember. Let me not start lying on the live stream. We got Hella Swingy, moderator of the channel, saying, hi, hey, BriHive, hey, Bri, how are you? Hello, how are you? Welcome back into the live stream. Nice to have you back tonight. We got IV093 saying, ooh, I hadn't heard the judge may be booted. Yes. And so there's a couple people streaming right now. That's I'm like, geez, y'all, everybody kind of overlaps in live stream community. But yeah, it's a couple people streaming a couple of different things. So the Young Thug judge is potentially getting the boot. I don't know if he's got the boot all the way, but I know they did pause the case. I don't know what's going on all the way with it. And then we have people streaming on Karen Reed getting a mistrial. I did not watch the case. It definitely had very interesting facts to the case, but with my workload and not being a full-time YouTuber, I cannot keep up with that whole case. So I was interested, or I guess not surprised that there was a mistrial because it was very circumstantial and a lot of the evidence from what I've seen was a little bit watered down, and then we had some like sketch corrupt government people going on in there, like police and things. So not too shocked that it resulted in a mistrial, and there is a hearing to determine whether they are going to try to proceed with the case or not. So that will be interesting. And then also, like I said, Courtney Clinty, no one's really talking about that case right now, but she did have a hearing last week as well. I need to check in to see what happened. It was a short hearing, so probably not much happened there other than status conference. But either way it goes, Young Thug judge may be getting booted, which from what I saw on the situation, he probably needs to get booted. Like, ex partes with witnesses without even telling the defense. It's like one thing not to have them there, but you didn't even tell them so that they could object to it. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm getting like some feedback. Sorry, y'all. I was getting some feedback in my house. But anyways, let's see here. We got Hella Slunky saying, hope everyone is well. We hope you're doing well too. We got Chelsea B saying, hey, everyone. Hello and welcome back into the live stream. We got Leela Wells saying, hi, hello, welcome in. IB0093 says, Karen Reed should have been acquitted. You think so? I don't think that they had enough evidence from what I saw, but they don't quote me because I did not watch the whole trial. So let me know what y'all think. Hello Swanky saying hi to Chelsea B and hi to Leela Wells. We got IB0093 says, I'm originally from Justice for Clayton. Well, welcome in and still OG and still showing up to the live stream. So we appreciate you. Kimmy Locker, a member or moderator of the channel, consultant of the channel, and paralegal that also found this case for me. I can like hear everything in the background, y'all. I think there's an over my house, but welcome back into the live stream and backstage. Kimmy saying hello, BriHive. I can't believe the Karen Reed jury hung or the unmitigated gall of the YSL judge. It's ridiculous, and we're going to talk about it. I do think that the transcripts will be very interesting to go over. I know there's just no way I can keep up with that trial, and if this trial starts over, I just feel like the prosecution is just going to let it go because it's so much. The trial in itself is supposed to be a year long. We are already half a year through this trial and the judge is getting kicked. How is the new judge going to catch up? Do they have like understudy judges? I don't think so. I don't think that they have understudy judges. So is the new judge going to have to rewatch everything? That would be insane. So yeah, unmitigated gall of the YSL judge for sure. Nissa Howard saying, sorry, Bri, I was working like last week, that is no problem. I'm used to talking to the camera all by myself. Chelsea B says, it is interesting. The other cases have been so long and in depth. It's crazy. I feel like I can finally watch some other coverage now, now that read is over. Yeah, it was long and I couldn't keep up with it. And it was only technically a month of time when we're comparing it to the YSL trial. Like that one has been going on for a full 6 months, more than 6 months at this point, right? Kimmy Locker says, I wanted to join last week because I've got lots of opinions, but the universe doesn't want me to be great. Yeah, I know you said you had some issues going on, but next time. Boxing for Life says, I haven't heard anything about this case. It is an interesting one. Another accuser going after a high profile guy, not like Diddy, where he's probably guilty, right? This is a case where he's not guilty. And a lot of these cases that we get where we have an accuser accusing the guy that we've covered on this channel, usually the guy is guilty, right? They've been guilty. We believe the accuser. In these cases, we don't believe the accusers, and you're going to see why. And honestly, the complaint doesn't have a lot of detail in it. I wish they gave us a little bit more juicy detail. It kind of reminds me of the, the DJ Academics case. And I'll bring my comparisons into that as we go through the case. Hopefully I don't forget. But it reminds me of the DJ Academic case that we covered a couple months ago now at this point. Boxing for Life says, I haven't heard anything about this case. I think I literally just read that. Chelsea B saying, hey, the hell is Swanky. We got I undermeant what you stood. Oh, lovely. Saying, what's up, BriHive? Hello and welcome into the live stream. Hello, Smokey says, if he gets booted or sanctioned, he absolutely deserves it. It would be totally what he did. Yeah, exactly. Or how about we hold him in contempt and put him in jail, just like he did that attorney for basically asserting his client's rights. Like, what kind of judge does what he did? We'll talk about it. That's not this stream. But like I said, Lawyer is covering it. So if you guys do want to check out some of the transcript, no, wait for me to do it, okay? Wait for me to do it. Stargazer Kawaii says, you should also look up Samaya Thomas, a girl who didn't want to go on a first date and called the police on the guy, calling him an abusive ex and father of her child. What? Wait, so he's the father of her child and he forced her to go on a date? That sounds interesting. I don't know if I'm reading that right, but that does sound interesting. So we have another accuser that may not be too believable is what I'm getting from him. I'll have to check it out. Someone told me about a case last stream and I completely forgot what it was. I'm gonna have to go back to the last stream and check out what that case was to look into. Chelsea B says 100% on acquittal. The Commonwealth's case was awful. I didn't watch it. Kimmy encouraged me to join in for the defense's case, and I probably could have because it was very short in comparison to the prosecution's case, right? But I would have been too confused and had no opinions, no real opinions on what the prosecution did, to tell you the truth. Berto says, hi, hello, and welcome in. We got Hella Swanky saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they retry the YSL case out of embarrassment and spite. Oh gosh, please give them new prosecutors. Boxer for Life says, understudy judges. That's I'm like, there are no understudy judges. Like, that can't be a thing. I've never heard of it. Chelsea B says Laura Owen deserves to be charged. She has been, the case was submitted for review for her to be charged. So hopefully we get some news on that coming up soon. And she's still writing. Like, we covered her on Thursday. She's still talking. Like, just pipe down, girl. Pipe down. Okay? Hello Swanky says, yeah, that would be fair too. I don't know what that man was thinking. He wasn't. Hello Swanky says Natalie Lawyer Chick covered it too. Judge Glanville's foolishness. Yes, I did watch that. That's who I was watching when it all came out. I was watching Natalie. Stargazer Kawaii says he has never met him. It was supposed to be her first date. Oh, so she went on a first date with a guy and then all of a sudden he's her baby daddy? Is that what you're saying? Oh gosh, no. That sounds like a good one. What is that? Kimmy, can you jot that down? Because when I say I'm going to jot down things, I don't, and then I forget about it, and then I never go and look at it. We never go and look at it. Really, Kimmy never goes and look at it. Because Kimmy helps me look up a bunch of things, okay? Okay, and then the other one was Goober Goon's case. So I'll have to look into that over my weekend because I am taking Thursday and Friday off this week. So I should be able to get some things out over the week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I also have to clean my house and do some decorations. So hopefully we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Chelsea B saying there's only so many imaginary twins to make up before you're in trouble. Yeah. So many imaginary tonsil twins. Oh my gosh. I would not be surprised if she tried to turkey baste herself, because Clayton said that she ran to the bathroom after the second explosion from his body. And it would not surprise me if she, like, sorry to be gross on live stream, but maybe like spit it out and try to put it. That's too much. It's too much. Too much visual in my head at that point. And then we got Super Serena 808 saying aloha, y'all. Hello and welcome back into the live stream. Let's go ahead and jump into this Dak Prescott situation. Oh yeah, Dakota. Okay. Kimmy, let me know if you got the timeline. I'm gonna try to give the best rendition of what's going on here as I can, but it may not be the best. So give me a second, Bossy B, bring us in. Okay, so Kimmy said to give her 1 minute. Okay, and in that minute, we'll go ahead and look at this comment from Hello Swinky saying, ew, not explosion. Sorry. I was trying to look for a nice way to say it, Hello Swinky. Come on. Just me, MD. Welcome in, saying hi, everyone. Hope you all had a great day. Buzzing in, sending love from East Texas. Hello and welcome in. We are in Texas in the case today. Just me, MD. Don't know what side of Texas, but we are in Texas. We're in Collin County, Texas for this case. We got Cheryl C., moderator of the channel. Welcome in, saying hi, everyone. Unfortunately, I can't stay, but I wanted to pop in and say hello. My schedule has been weird lately, so I've missed the last couple of live streams. The replay crew, that is no problem. Our streaming schedule has been quite weird lately, so there's that. So you're not doing too bad. Hope you have a good rest of your day. We got Hella Swinky saying, laughing my A off. Alex P says that does seem like the next step of her escalating, since now everyone knows she photoshops medical documents. Next, she's going to try to get pregnant for real. That's like the only thing she can do, so people can tell her that she's lying, and then she can prove us wrong. Like, that's literally the only thing. See, guys, I can get pregnant, because at this point, I'm like not trying to wish infertility on her if she is not infertile. But at this point, I'm like, I don't know if you can get pregnant, because if you can get pregnant, why do you just keep pretending to be pregnant? Why not actually get pregnant? And I don't want to encourage her, but I feel like that's the next step. Hello Swanky says, hearing that made me picture it, which made me my esophagus split. Laughing my A off. Yeah, as I was saying it, it was like, too much for the stream brain. Cheryl C says, I'm in Austin, Texas. Coincidentally, LOL. Okay, so we are in Texas for the case, and we got some people from Texas in the chat. Welcome in. Okay, let's go ahead. I know Kimmy said she was going to get me the timeline, and I know it's coming, but let me just give a brief rendition of what's going on with the case. We got Stargazer Kawaii saying getting pregnant can be hard. Yeah, but she keeps pretending. I know it's hard, but she just keeps pretending. Just Me MD says Collin County area is in the Dallas area. That's what I was thinking, but I'm like, let me not be wrong. But he also does play for the Dallas Cowboys, so it would make sense that he lives near Dallas, if not in Dallas. So thank you, Just Me MD, for that. We got Hello Swanky saying, cuz what the hell is sleeping with her without a raincoat? Laura Owen. You just have to be. Don't even stand next to my girl, because she'll be pregnant for sure. Helen Swanky says, who would be goofy enough to impregnate her? Someone that is living under a rock, maybe. Darlene Wesley says she can't get pregnant because no guy will screw her for real. I mean, Clayton didn't even screw her, and she still accused him of being the father. Okay. Chelsea B says she should never have children. We can only hope she does not bring children into the world and put them through the nonsense that she has been putting them through. Okay. So are you sending me? Okay. So Kimmy got us a little demand letter. Kimmy is sending me demands in the backyard. She got me the timeline. So let's go ahead and address what is going on with this Dak Prescott situation. So let me bossy B again. Okay, y'all. So for those of you that do not know about this case, this is Dak Prescott, also known as Rain Dakota Prescott, which I did not know that was his name, but that's his name. He is suing Victoria Bailey Shores and her attorneys. He's suing her attorneys, Bethel T. Zahe. I hope I'm saying that right. And then Yoel T. Zahe. I'm just going to call him Zahe. Zahe? I'm probably not saying that right. But either way it goes, he's suing the girl and her attorneys for extortion. If you don't know who Dak Prescott is, he is the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. I have an interesting connection, not really connection to him, but I did intern at the sports agency he was with when he was getting drafted. And that's literally all they talked about. I never met him personally, but they literally like, yeah, we got Dak Prescott. We got Dak Prescott. That's who's on our team. You know, that's who we represent. You want to work for us? And I'm like, no, not really. That's like the only cool person you have. But anyways, I thought that was a pretty interesting connection. So when this case did come out, I was tempted to cover it, but I think there was some other things going on, which led to me not being able to cover it. So either way it goes, he is suing this girl, Victoria, and her attorneys because Victoria is accusing him of SAing her back in 2017 when apparently she went to hang out with them and he hooked up with her in the back of a car. But before these lawsuits came into play, we had her sending him a demand letter saying, you SA'd me 7 years ago, and instead of me going to the police and putting this out in the public, you need to give me $100 million. Like, that is a lot of money. Does he even make that amount of money to be requesting $100 million? I mean, he's a quarterback, but do they? I don't think the NFL makes that much, right? But either way it goes, she asked him for $100 million for her mental anguish over the last 7 years. Mind you, she never brought it up within the last 7 years. This is the first time this letter sent to Dak Prescott or somebody else who apparently was supposed to give the letter to Dak Prescott. So we have a timeline made for us by Kimmy. So let's just go through what has happened in this case so far. Then we'll go ahead and jump into the demand letter and see what this says. And I'm gonna tell y'all, it is not a strongly written letter. It's not strongly written. I'm not confused, but I can see how someone might be confused about, okay, what exactly are you alleging here? And then we're going to jump into the complaint, which is really not that long. It's a couple of facts, and then we go through the causes. Then we go through the causes of action. So either way it goes, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first, we have Victoria and her attorneys who are also being sued, which you do not normally see attorneys being sued along with their clients because you're just representing your client. But they said, no, you guys are going down too. They send Dak Prescott a demand letter for $100 million for mental anguish, right? And I think Cassie went through 10 years of abuse, and she only asked for $30 million from Diddy, who probably has it. I think how much does he make per year? I don't think they pay NFL players that much per year. How much does what's his name? Dak Prescott. I should probably look these things up before the stream. Okay. How much does he make per year? $40 million. Okay. So she's asking for at least 2.5 years of his salary, right? At least 2.5 years of his salary is what, because it's 30 million plus little add-on. So 2.5 years of what he would make through not only playing football, but also his endorsements is what she's asking for. $100 million for 7 years of mental anguish. And we'll get into what she says the mental anguish is, but let's go on for the next step in the timeline that Kimmy so graciously provided for us. Thank you again, Kimmy. We got second, Dak Prescott files a civil lawsuit against Victoria Shores and her attorneys and files a police report. Investigation is ongoing. I don't think we have access to the police report though, right, Kimmy? I don't think so. So Dak Prescott, he gets a demand letter, and instead of waiting for her to bring this thing public, he says, I'm bringing it public. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you for even saying I did this nonsense. So basically beat her to the punch. I think that's a good legal strategy. I'm not going to play around with you, little girl. You're threatening me to bring it public. How about I bring it public, bro? Okay. And then number 3, we got Victoria Shores files civil lawsuit in another jurisdiction, which she later dropped to refile in the same court as Dak Prescott lawsuit. So he sued her and she decided to open a lawsuit and sue him in a different county. And then she drops it and then she comes to this county. Next, Victoria Shores reports alleged SA to the police, who have since decided not to press charges due to insufficient evidence. So she sends a demand. He files a lawsuit. She files a lawsuit, drops that lawsuit, then files another lawsuit. And then she goes and press charges for SA from 7 years ago with the police department. The police investigated it and said that there's not enough evidence. So he doesn't have criminal charges pending, unlike some people we may know coming up here soon, Diddy. And then next, Victoria Shores' attorney files counterclaims in Dak Prescott's lawsuit. So this is technically her third lawsuit. She filed it in a different county, same county, and now she has counterclaims coming. Now that we move forward, I believe last week there was let's go on to the next part. Next. Okay. Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm trying to read the timeline because Kimmy just sent it to me. So I'm like trying to familiarize myself with it. So then Dak files a motion to dismiss the counterclaims. And just recently, last week, the court granted the motion to dismiss the counterclaims. So now all that's left is Dak's counterclaims. And there is a hearing set for September to determine whether sanctions should be filed against this lady, similar to Laura Owens, if sanctions should be filed against her for frivolous claims. The fact that the court found frivolous claims this early on in the lawsuit, the fact that the court dropped the counterclaims this early on in the lawsuit is, like, in my opinion, unprecedented. How did they even come to that determination that fast? I'm gonna try to see if I can get some more records from the court. And I think I misspoke. Kimmy said that she only filed twice. The same county lawsuit is the counterclaim. So I'm sorry, y'all. I misspoke on that. It's okay. So that's what we have. We have $100 million demand. Dak files a lawsuit. Victoria files a lawsuit in a different county. Then when Dak files his claim, he also makes a police report. And then Victoria goes ahead and makes SA allegations to the police. They drop that case. She then files counterclaims, and then Dak asks to dismiss her counterclaims. The court grants his motion to dismiss the counterclaims, and now the court is considering sanctioning Victoria for frivolous claims. And what do we mean by sanctioning? Charging her money. She'll have to pay his attorney's fees and maybe something else, right? Attorney's fees and costs and potentially emotional distress. I don't know exactly what they can claim for sanctions in Texas under this kind of lawsuit. So this case is happening fast because this is from March and we're already moving that fast. Lucky for him, he's not having to go through it as long as Mr. Clayton did. So I think that is a pretty similar claim to what Clayton Echard had, except there's just no tonsil twins involved in this one. So let's go ahead and jump into the demand letter. And y'all let me know whether you think if you got this demand letter, would you be afraid? Would you be afraid, or would you be a little bit confused about what the heck this lady is asking for? Now, Kimmy, I don't know if you have time to do a poll. I don't know, what can we ask? Is this demand letter believable? What would be a good question to ask in the poll? Or would you comply with this demand letter? Would you give this lady $100 million for this demand letter that was written? I'm gonna have Bossy B bring us into the next section so I can go ahead and timestamp stuff. Let's see. Y'all, and I've been very proud of myself with timestamping because I have been keeping up with it for the last few live streams. So I'm very proud of myself. Let's go ahead and jump into the letter from the law office of Bethel Z. Hay, sending a letter to, for whatever reason, I think it was like, where did he go to school? Michigan State, Missouri State, somewhere State University. That's where they sent the letter to. Not to Dak. not to Dak, but to the athletic department at whatever university he went to previously, which he has been out of school since at least 2016. Because that's when my sports agency was scouting him. Okay, so let's go on and see. This is regarding Victoria Belay Shores, SA. The date of the incident, it occurred in February 2nd, 2017. Now let's look at the date. We are now in January 16, or we are now on January 16, 2024, and she is sending a letter regarding an incident that happened about 7 years earlier in 2017. They go on to say, "Dear Mr. Prescott, our law firm has been retained to represent Victoria Belay Shores, hereinafter referred to as Mr. Shores, for injuries she sustained as a result of SA committed by you on or about February 2nd, 2017. So letting him know that he committed this SA against her, and that is why she's writing this letter to him. You and Miss Shores I like how they just be like, you were here and you did this. They're going to do it throughout the letter. So let's go on. You and Miss Shores became acquainted through her employment and exchanged information. What kind of employment was she in? Let us know. Why are you leaving information out? Communications ensued between you both via Snapchat, and you invited her to hang out. Thereafter, on or about February 2nd, 2017, you and Miss Shore, along with 2 members of your entourage and a couple of additional female friends, met at this location in Plano. At some point, you, Miss Shore, along with 2 members of your entourage, entered your black SUV style vehicle. Yeah, it's an SUV styled vehicle, not just an SUV, right? You directed Miss Shores to the furthest back row so you could all head to a location. On the ride to the location, you exposed your genitalia. So remember, guys, we have 4 people in the car. We have Miss Shores, we have Dak Prescott, and then we have 2 members of his entourage who I'm going to assume is male. And what this letter is saying, he sent this lady to the back seat. It doesn't tell us where he was sitting, but at some point he whipped out his junk, okay? And when they're saying the furthest seat to the back, I'm assuming that this is a car with 3 rows. I may imagine this as a Escalade or something of that nature, a Yukon XL, one of the big SUVs that have 3 rows of seats. This letter doesn't even tell us where he was sitting. So if she was sitting all the way in the back and he just whipped out his peen in the middle seat, is it assault? Maybe, but also did she see it? Maybe not. I don't know. But either way it goes, let's just assume they're in the same row of seats. So he sends her to the back and he also gets in the back. That's what I'm assuming. Like the details are missing for me. So, I don't know. Kimmy, were you able to put up a poll? I don't see it, but maybe you're still working on it. Either way it goes, the story is already not making sense. It's missing a lot of detail, but let's go on. So on the ride to the location, you exposed your genitalia, just whipped it out, okay? Miss Shores did not want to engage in sexual intercourse and made sure to verbalize her wishes, okay? In the car, as they're going to a location, he just is that freaky that he wants to get it going while driving with 2 other people in the car, which I mean, to each their own. Some people are into that kind of stuff, but here we are. Afterwards, the car came to a stop at your destination. Once this occurred, everyone got out of the car except you, and you further signaled to one of your entourage members to leave you and Miss Shores alone. At this point, you used physical force and sexually SA'd Miss Shores by penetrating her vagina against her consent. Again, everyone gets out the car, so there's really no witnesses about what happened other than her word versus his word. That's what we're getting from this letter. Miss Shores has had to live with this pain and trauma for 7 years. It affected her relationship with her fiance and her everyday existence so much that she had to attend therapy and counseling and will require further therapy and counseling. She has suffered mental anguish that is unimaginable dealing with the trauma of being an SA victim. Now, with her claiming that she went to therapy and counseling, she's going to have to prove documentation that she went to therapy and counseling, and they can look into her records and see if it was actually about that or was it because she dropped her ice cream and she was really sad about that. They're going to be able to dig into her mental anguish that she's claiming. And again, if she was getting free mental care, that kind of reduces her damages because she didn't actually have to pay for the counseling. But how do we prove mental anguish? You went 7 years without saying anything. You never texted him. You never said anything to him like, hey, I didn't like what you did to me. Well, you could be afraid, right? But also, you were quiet for 7 years. And I don't know, maybe go to the, and I guess most people don't report their assault. But the reason why I'm being so skeptical with her is because the court has already dismissed her claims as frivolous. So we can use that as fact. So as a fact, she lied is what we're going to use for this case. Okay. Despite the tragic events, she is willing to forego pursuing criminal charges along with disclosing the information to the public in exchange for compensating her for mental anguish she has suffered. Ms. Shore's damages are valued at the sum of $100 million. How? How did we get to $100 million, dude? How did we get there? Oh, yes. I asked for a poll, Kimmy. A poll of would you comply with this demand letter? We're almost done with it. Let's see here. So she's gonna, instead of going to the police and making this story public, she's asking him to give her $100 million and she'll basically be quiet. Give me hush money. Give me hush money is essentially what she's asking. Ms. Shore's damages are valued at a sum of $100 million. You have until February 16th of 2024 to respond to this demand letter. To discuss this matter, please have your attorneys reach out to her attorneys. Please direct all communications exclusively to our office. We hope to resolve this matter privately and amicably and look forward to working with you. Apparently they had a meeting and they're like, nah, F this, we're filing a lawsuit against you. Now you can't go public, girl. So we're making a poll. Would you comply with this demand letter? It basically says you hung out with this girl in 2017. You SA'd her. Now she went to therapy and you owe her $100 million. $100 million? Like maybe if the number was a little bit more realistic, I think maybe we could believe it a little bit. But the fact that you're asking for $100 million makes the story unbelievable, and it's missing so many goddamn facts. So many facts. Do this or I'm going to tell everybody. Okay, so we're going to jump into the complaint in just a little bit, but I do want to see what the chat is saying so far. So let's get into that. Okay, so we got Hella Swinky saying, oh, sorry. Hella Swinky saying the back of a car. What are we, in college? Well, this, to be fair, is just like a year after college for him. So maybe, just maybe, that would be acceptable. She just said they met at her employment. I would like to know what her employment is. Like, am I being messy? I don't know. I don't know if I'm being messy, but what was her employment? How did they meet and then start up an interaction on Snapchat? Okay. Darlene Wesley says that's extortion. A prime example of extortion for sure. But it's better than her sending a letter saying date me or and then I'll get rid of the baby. That's a little bit better than Laura Owens. I have to give her that. At least she hired an attorney to send the letter. Darlene Wesley says he needs to call the FBI. There's currently a police investigation going on and they could escalate it to the FBI if they decide to. Stargazer Kawaii says, yes, that's an unrealistic price that costs doubts on her intelligence. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe if she came with a more reasonable price, like, you know, $50,000, $100,000, something a normal person would request, right? Cassie went through 10 years of public nonsense with Diddy and only asked for $30 million. And she's a celebrity. And you're going to tell me you need $100 million because you went through, and not to downplay anyone that has gone through SA, but you went through one incident 7 years ago with a guy you weren't even, you know, tied to financially. Cassie was being financially abused. She didn't even get to do her 10 albums that he contracted her to do. Like, she was being financially abused, physically abused, sexually abused, all of those things. And she only asked for $30 million as a celebrity and probably a person that affords that lifestyle. You're asking for $100 million. That in itself casts doubts. I agree. Stargazer Hawaii says he still has bills. Exactly. And she's looking for 2.5 years of his salary. Like I said, maybe if it was more reasonable, 100,000, maybe even 200,000, we might can get away with that. More on a regular person basis. But the $100 million, did they mean to type 100,000? Like, come out and say that. I meant 100,000. I want them to come out and say that. Kimmy went ahead and put the poll in the chat, and it says, would you comply with the demand letter? Yes, if I had the money. No, but I would settle for less. No, even if I had the money. No, she don't get squat. I love the options. Go ahead and vote if you haven't already voted and you're watching live. Let's see. Sophie says, I hope I'm saying that right. Would you fall for it or fight for it? Exactly. I think most of us are going to fight for it, right? Or ignore her. I probably would have ignored her. If he was going to file the lawsuit, well, I mean, I guess he got the defamation claim. That's why. But I was like, if he was going to file a lawsuit anyways, I probably would have just ignored her and let her come out and then sue her for defamation. Hello, Songy says, good job, Bri, for the timestamps. Thank you very much. I've been working hard. Zoe B says, perhaps Dak's attorney is following the playbook used to incarcerate Michael Avenatti for felony fraud and extortion against Nike. I don't know. Ohio Palm Mom says, how about blackmail? Yes, that too. That is at play here too. Stargazer Kawaii says he may have settled if court wasn't the cheaper option. Yeah. Corey is definitely the cheaper option in this case. For sure. I agree with you on that. Stargazer, that was just a correction. Sophie says, are you sure the girl is not Amber Heard again? Some people are taking some plays from her book lately. Okay, they're taking plays from her book. Zoe B says Michael Avenatti was Stormy Daniels' original lawyer when she initially went public with claims against Trump. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, I don't know if I'm all the way familiar. Just Me MD says, I mean, did her attorney not advise her to come up with a realistic damage amount? Hey, her attorneys are also being sued. So they probably advised her to come up with $100 million. Like, oh my gosh, I would not be surprised because like I said, normally attorneys don't get sued along with their clients. They don't get sued. Just the client will get sued, not the attorney along with the client. So that lets me know that during the meeting that they had, any negotiations that they had, the lawyers were also being unreasonable. And what's going to come into play here is any questions that they're going to ask the lawyer, they're going to be able to assert their attorney, or they're both going to be able to assert attorney-client privilege as to what communications went on between the attorney and between Victoria, which leads us to never know who came up with the $100 million number. So there's that. Oh, okay. Bye. See you later. You dressed up.
I look cute, huh?
Bye.
I look cute.
You look sketchy, bro.
Oh, that I'm not going to my parents. I'll share my location.
Bye. Sorry for that brief intermission. Boy, it looks sketchy as heck. Let's go. Hello, Swanky says, okay, that explains it then. LOL, a year post-college gets a pass. Yeah, he was just out, or maybe not a year, but like a year or two, right? Jay says, question, can we get little bee stuffed animals for your mascot? Sure. I don't know where to get those from. I need to, because I am planning on decorating the office and the back wall behind me here too, coming up soon. Destined to be, also known as Tanya D, saying, love that idea to at Jay. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I just don't know where to get those from. I'm sure you can order them from like Amazon or something, right? Darlene Wesley says, allegedly she was SA'd. Yes. Well, it's not even allegedly at this point because the court has already found it to be a frivolous claim. So she's not. She probably wasn't. Zoe B says perhaps she was waiting for Prescott to have a larger NFL contract before filing her lawsuit. Wouldn't benefit her to file before he signed a contract after his rookie season in the NFL. Yeah, like why mess up his career, right? Why would she mess up his career? Let him get in there 7 years, skin in the game, and then she's going to bring it out. And that is kind of what Dak's attorneys focus on in the actual complaint. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. So good call on that. Just Me MD says to Zoe B, that would make a little sense. And then Kimmy Locker says, Alpha Sidon, didn't he say he was gonna join the stream? He did, but then he backed out because I asked him, well, why? Why are you joining my stream? I need help editing. I don't need help talking. Okay. Mela Songy says, tell that man he look cute, Bree. No, he looks sketchy. He looks sketchy and he got on perfume. So yeah, I have questions. Sophie said, oh, you look sketchy, bro. And he's setting off alarms. See, sketchy, I tell you. Stargazer Kawaii says, could the attorneys be seen as assisting her with blackmail? And that's what I'm going to assume, aiding and abetting. But I mean, they're her attorneys. They should be advising. They should be advising her, but they're not doing a good job advising her. Sophie dropping the B emojis. Love it. As Jay says, if I send you some, where can I send them? Twitter messages, I think. That's where I would check it. Twitter. Right? I think that will work. I'm Boss Attorney Bree on Twitter, I believe. I believe that's who I am on. Or X, whatever you want to call this goddamn platform. I think my name is Boss Attorney Bree on there. Okay. So thank you if you find some. Thank you very much. Darlene Wesley says, oh, that's good. I hope she has to pay all his fees and damages. Yes. So they are having a hearing, I think September 13th. So a couple of months before we figure out what's going on with that, to see if she is going to have to pay his attorney's fees. But remember, he still has a case going against her. The court just dismissed her counterclaims as being frivolous. So the court is still upholding his complaint, taking it as true on the face. So there's that. Oh, no, I didn't just get a phone call. It's just he turned it off as soon as he set it off. So there's that. Yeah, no, he set it off and then turned it right back off. So that's good. Okay. Anyways, let me go ahead and check out what's going on with this poll. We have 23 votes. If you haven't voted already and you would like your opinion heard in the vote and you're watching live, make sure you go ahead and vote. It says, would you comply with the demand letter? If you heard the demand letter, it says, yes, if I had the money, 0%. No, but I would settle for less, 4%. So some people said, hey, maybe I did do something wrong. I'll give you a little bit of money to be quiet. Or maybe I didn't do something wrong, but I'll give you a little bit of money to be quiet, right? No, even if I had the money, F you. And then no, she don't get squat, says 70%. So most people are saying they would not pay this girl Victoria for this demand letter. It is not a strongly written letter. Like, this is the weakest demand letter I think I've ever seen. Like, literally going up against a celebrity, and this is the demand letter that you put out. It's embarrassing, in my opinion, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. I can't talk today. I can never talk on live stream. I don't know why I pretend like I can. Okay, so I went ahead and end the poll. Sophie says, Bree, you should have kept turning on the alarm and with phone as a prank. No, I wouldn't do. It would get on my nerves to turn on the alarm. I hate the sound of the alarm. Tanya D says, been telling you to get the P.O. box, ma'am. I know, I do. I thought she meant like send it to me like, oh, I found this on Amazon kind of situation, not like mail it to me. But let me know if I'm misinterpreting what the plan was there, Jay. Because I don't know if I'm misinterpreting the plan. Okay, and then Kimmy says she has a P.O. box to send stuff too. If I thought she meant that to send like a little, I don't know what I thought. I didn't think it was a gift. I thought it was just going to be, oh, I found this. Okay. So I did misinterpret it. I thought you were just going to send me a link. I was like, send it to Twitter. I have problems. I know. I literally thought you were just going to send me a link to like Amazon or something. I misinterpreted that all the way. My bad. Okay, yeah. So Kimmy has a P.O. box that I think she's willing to share. I don't have one right now, so Kimmy can just send it to me once she gets it, and we'll put it on a shelf back here because I'm gonna do like a little floating shelf. It's gonna be cute. We're gonna redo the wall in the back, and y'all, I have like a little. Should I tell y'all what? Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all. I have another neon sign that's like a crown, so we can get the Queen BriHive situation going on for sure. Bossy B in the back. So we will share that P.O. box if Kimmy is cool with that. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and finish these chats, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the actual complaint on the case. So Stargazer Kawaii says it's Twitter and will forever be Twitter unless they give it a much cooler name and look. Yeah, I can't get behind X. I'm sorry, Elon. I'm just not there. And also saying definitely Twitter. And then we have Darlene Wesley saying women have to be held to task when they pull this garbage. Also, more perjury charges need to be brought forward. And hopefully they do that. Hopefully they do that in this case. Zoe B says, so this letter is one step above a creepy letter with the words cut out from a magazine and pasted on a paper like a serial killer. It's just a bad letter. It's a bad letter for sure. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. So funny. It is a step above that. Okay, let me go ahead. Sophie says, it's okay. You got sidetracked by the sketchy bro. Yeah, he did sidetrack me for sure. Okay, Jay said, I can do that as well. Either one works for me. Either one works. And Hello Swingy says, don't trust people who call it X. Nope, can't. Gotta be like Gen Alpha at that point. Isn't that like the new generation coming up? They're gonna call it X. They're gonna be like, what's a Twitter? What is a Twitter? Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and jump into the actual complaint on this matter. So this lady says, Dak, give me 100 million or I'm gonna go public. Dak said, say less. I'm gonna go public for you, okay? I'm gonna go public for you and I'm gonna sue you for lying. I honestly wish he would have let her go public because then he could get more for the damages. He's kind of making it go public himself and like, yeah, there was a letter sent to a third party, but your damages are gonna be kind of low. I think your damages are gonna be kind of low, but anyways, I think he should have let her go public with it, to tell you the truth. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We have Rain Dakota Prescott suing Victoria Belay Shores, Bethel, and Yoel Zahe, and they are in Collin County suing under this case. And it's under a bunch of cause of actions. We're going to get into it. Let's get an introduction into what's going on in this case. This case arises out of a blatant attempt by Victoria Shores and her legal team to extort plaintiff Dak Prescott by weaponizing patently false yet heinous SA allegations with no basis in reality. Consider the following excerpt from defendant's extortionary letter attached as Exhibit A. That's what we just went over, the letter. Ms. Shores is willing to forgo pursuing criminal charges along with disclosing this information to the public in exchange for compensating her for the mental anguish she has suffered. Ms. Shores' damages are valued at a sum of $100 million. Again, like we said, maybe if the number was a little more reasonable, he wouldn't think that this was just a fraud or an extortion and just trying to get money out of it, right? They go on to say, SA is a despicable crime that no person should ever endure. Mr. Prescott, a new father to his baby girl, has great empathy for survivors of SA and believes fervently that all perpetrators of such crimes should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. With that said, Mr. Prescott has never engaged in any non-consensual sexual behavior with anyone. So they are starting off their complaint strong, right? Her demands are ridiculous, and he wouldn't do something like that. And they say it in very strong language, unlike the way that letter was written. So let's go on. Indeed, defendant's false claim in this regard undermines the courage of actual SA survivors everywhere, as well as the legitimacy of the horrific traumas they have endured. Where that sounds familiar. That sounds like Laura Owens basically trying to profit off of claiming that she had a miscarriage, right? Or that she would willingly get an abortion if this guy just dated her. Like, that is so insane, right? Mr. Prescott is the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys in the National Football League. In addition to his storied career as an athlete, Mr. Prescott has established himself as a solid role model and pillar of the community through his continued philanthropic efforts and commitment to upholding a moral character to the highest degree. One such example of the establishment of Mr. Prescott's Faith Fight Finish Foundation, which empowers resilience and fosters strength in adversity for individuals, families, and communities. So he basically has a nonprofit organization where he helps out the community. Now, at the height of Mr. Prescott's success, who said that in the chat that we had to wait until he started making a little bit more money, right? Now, at the height of Mr. Prescott's success, defendants and her legal team have unleashed a campaign of extortion and defamation, threatening to go public with a completely fabricated story of SA from nearly a decade ago and demanding that Mr. Prescott immediately pay $100 million in exchange for her silence. Defendants' horrible lies not only threaten to destroy the legitimacy or the legitimate legacy of a great man and cost him tens of millions of dollars, but defendants' conduct is criminal because what is she doing? She is extorting him, okay? As such, Mr. Prescott has reported defendants' criminal actions to the appropriate authorities and will continue to cooperate fully in their investigation. Further, Mr. Prescott is forced to file the instant case to bring the truth to light, defend his new family, and promote our society's collective progress and support of legitimate survivors of SA. I think that's a good thing to point out because there are a lot more people that are becoming more confident and encouraged to come out with their SA stories. But if you have people like this just making things up and saying, hey, you SA'd me 7 years ago and I never even brought it up and you never got the opportunity to correct it or basically defend yourself, and now all of a sudden I'm saying that I went to therapy for 7 years over something you had no idea about, it's going to discourage people from going forward because then you are going to get situations where people be like, oh, well, that girl lied about it. How do we know this girl is not lying about it or this guy is not lying about it or whatever? So I think that was a good point to bring up to say, hey, like, I'm serious about this. I don't condone what she's bringing forward, and she needs to basically take accountability for what she's doing. Okay. As a show of support for legitimate survivors of SA, Mr. Prescott has committed to donating any and all recovery obtained as a result of this lawsuit to the Joyful Heart Foundation, whose vision is a world free of SA, domestic violence, and child abuse. So he is suing her, but he doesn't want any of the money for himself. It's going to pay for his lawyers, and any profit that he makes from it essentially is going to go to survivors. And I don't know if the attorneys are even going to give up the money. I don't think the attorneys are going to give up the money. But either way it goes, whatever he makes from it that I assume is not going to his attorneys and the cost, I assume that is going to go to the foundation, which is a great way to basically defend yourself and then also give back to the community that this person is exploiting. So all the parties are from Texas. So that is why the case, this court has jurisdiction over them. Okay. And they go ahead and assert their right to discovery, essentially telling her not to destroy any evidence and then letting us know that he is seeking money. Dak is seeking in excess of $1 million, including damages of any kind, attorney's fees, cost of court, pre and post judgment interest, and any other penalties pursuant to the Texas code. So he is asking for $1 million or more in this case. And anything left over from after paying his attorney's fees is going to go to that foundation, which is phenomenal, right? But let's get into the background information of how did this all start, right? How did it all start? On or around February 13, 2024, Mr. Prescott's representatives received correspondence from defendants via her counsel, which falsely accused Mr. Prescott of SA-ing her and demanding Mr. Prescott to pay her $100 million in exchange for foregoing pressing criminal charges and disclosing the allegations to the public. Bizarrely, the correspondence was addressed to a third party at Mississippi State University, where Mr. Prescott attended college. I would like to know how they actually received the letter, because the letter is addressed to an email address at Mississippi State, but somehow his attorney still received it. So did it go to that person at Mississippi State, got bounced back, and then sent to the actual attorneys? Or how did the attorneys come in possession of this letter? That's interesting to me. I would like to know that. The alleged assault occurred on or around February 2nd, 2017, following the end of Mr. Prescott's rookie season in the NFL as the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. At the time of the alleged assault, Mr. Prescott was single, and in fact, the timeline of events and defendant Shore's actions and the 7 years since the alleged assault are consistent with being involved in only consensual actions with Mr. Prescott. Essentially, she hung out with him that one day and then just never talked to him again. I mean, could it signify that she was harmed? Sure. But was there communication after? We would need to know a little bit more information. These letters don't tell us the additional information. I'm going to try to get the motion to dismiss so that I can see what that is arguing, why this is a consensual relationship versus, because maybe she hung out with him, he hurt her, and then she never saw him again, and she just kind of dealt with her on her own. That happens to a lot of survivors. But I'm wondering if there's more information that's left out of this complaint and that was also left out of the letter that transpired after the actual incident. So moving on with her life is not necessarily indicative of the fact that the relationship was consensual. So I don't agree with the attorneys there, but again, maybe we're missing some information there. The fact that Mr. Prescott did not hear a single negative thing about this supposed interaction from nearly a decade ago is truly telling of defendant's motives. I agree with that. But again, a lot of survivors do not speak out. So there is a little bit, it can work. It can go either way for me on that one. After receiving the aforementioned correspondence, counsel for Mr. Prescott reached out to confer with defendant Shore's counsel to confer on the matter, as surely she would not so blatantly attempt to extort a highly successful NFL quarterback at the height of his career. But defendants Bethel and Yoel confirmed their motives when they confirmed on a phone call that all civil causes of actions have expired, and the sole reason for their demand of $100 million from Mr. Prescott was to forego criminal charges and for not making the alleged assault public. And so we have been covering some SA cases on this channel that has happened decades ago. For instance, we talk about the Cassie case, right? Cassie and Diddy. And she brought this, and her incidences were occurring, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, some time ago. And she was still able to bring the civil cases. But that is because they have a special statute in New York if the incident happened in New York. And then they also have one in California where they are letting these claims go back further than the normal statute of limitations, which I believe in most states is either 2 or 3 years for personal injury as a kind of claim in the civil court. So Texas does not have this legislation that lets you go back beyond the 7 years. So her attorney is admitting, we can't sue you under anything else. So we are going to threaten you. We're going to demand $100 million. And if you pay us, we won't go public because that's going to ruin your reputation. And we won't file criminal charges because she could still bring criminal charges against them. So they did not have any civil grounds to stand on, which could potentially be a reason why the counterclaims were actually dismissed, because maybe she was beyond the statute of limitations for the civil remedy or the civil causes of action she could have sued under. So again, I'm going to try to get those documents to see why the court found that her case should be dismissed, because it might not be that he proved the actions to be lies or that it never happened. It could just be she was beyond the statute of limitations, so she never should have brought the counterclaims knowing that the statute of limitations have already run. So there is that. Let's go ahead and jump back into it. Okay. Causes of action, we got defamation and slander. Defendants published false statements purporting to be facts about Mr. Prescott to third persons at Mississippi State University by asserting that Mr. Prescott engaged in the SA of defendant Shores on or around February 2nd, 2017. So from what we get from this, remember I was asking, did it go to the Mississippi State person and then back and then they sent it to the attorneys? But allegedly the what do you call it? I just got distracted. Sorry, y'all. But allegedly, the email and the letter went to the Mississippi State person. I don't know how the attorneys then got the letter. So again, we're talking about disclosing it to one person versus if she would have disclosed it to millions of people and would have done a Laura Owens campaign on this, okay? Amber Heard campaign, Laura Owens campaign on this, his damages would have been a lot higher. Disclosing it to just one person via email, I don't think his damages are going to be that big. Let me know y'all opinions on that. because your reputation is damaged to one person versus damage to a million people. Like, you're not getting contracts. He's not getting a contract with Mississippi State anyway. I mean, unless he's there to do like a camp for the football players. You're not really missing out a lot by just disclosing it to one person. And we do have to remember, with defamation, it only has to be spread to one person. It just has to go to a third party. But if it's only going to one third party, your damages are not going to be as high. So I don't think this was the best move for them. I think it was a way to kind of put it out there publicly, but it's not going to get him the most damages. Okay. Defendant's statement referred to Mr. Prescott by name and referred to his status as a public plaintiff by discussing his entourage. No privilege, absolute or conditional, attaches to these false and malicious statements. Defendant's false statements and omissions cause damage to Mr. Prescott's reputation. Each of the above referenced acts and omissions, single or in combination, constituted defamation and caused the damage suffered by Mr. Prescott that are in excess of the minimum jurisdictional limits of the court. Again, I don't know if he's going to be able to prove monetary damages by it being disclosed to one person. I think he's going to be looking at nominal damages of $1 for this one. Unless somehow like this email was made public to students. I don't know, but I just don't see how this letter going to one person is going to do the damages for him. Okay. Then we got defamation per se. Defendant's false and malicious statements. And remember, because Dak Prescott is a celebrity, essentially, I mean, he's a celebrity. He's the star quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He is going to have to show intent, malicious intent. Okay. It's not just negligence. You knew or should have known that it was false, but it's that you knew it was false and you decided to go and spread it anyways. That's what the standard he's looking at. So defendant's false and malicious statements negatively affected Mr. Prescott in his business, profession, occupation, and reputation. Each of the above referenced acts and omissions singly or in combination with others constituted defamation per se, which proximately caused the general and special damages suffered by Mr. Prescott, which are in excess of the minimum jurisdictional limits of the court. Again, defamation per se just gets you over the hurdle of proving that the statements are damaging, because she is alleging SA. That is going to be damaging to anybody, no matter who you are. So you get over that hurdle, but you still have to show your damages. And again, I just don't think he really has damages for the defamation with it just going to one party. Okay. She has the privilege to communicate that with her attorneys, but where they get in trouble is sending the letter out to the other person. And essentially, maybe the letter was never actually sent to the person, although it was addressed to them. Was it actually sent to the person at Mississippi State? That would also be a question. Civil extortion and duress. The conduct of defendants as described above amounts to civil extortion and duress. This is where he's going to get money, right? Because this is civil extortion and duress for sure. He's going to get money on this one. As defendants seek to gain money through some type of force or threat. And even if it's shown, let me go back. Let's see. Even if it's shown that maybe he did SAR, he could still win on the civil extortion and duress, because you're basically trying to force him to pay you by saying, oh, or I'm going to do criminal charges or put this to the public and ruin your reputation. That's extortion, even if he did do it, right? So there's that. Let me go on. Seeks to gain money through some type of force or threat of harm to reputation or unfavorable government action, threat of pressing criminal charges. Through their actions and in their communications with Mr. Prescott and his representatives, defendants has threatened to act in an unlawful manner unless Mr. Prescott pays them $100 million. As a result of this civil extortion and duress, Mr. Prescott has suffered damages and will continue to suffer damages. So he will most likely be able to succeed on this and get some damages for it. He says, accordingly, Mr. Prescott requests that this court enter a judgment against defendants for the amount of actual damages suffered as a result of such civil extortion / duress in an amount within the jurisdictional limits of this court. As a result of defendants' malicious and deceitful actions, Mr. Prescott also seeks recovery of exemplary damages. Business disparagement. Defendants made false and malicious statements against Mr. Prescott and his business as a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Defendants acted with malice and for the sole purpose of extorting Mr. Prescott for significant sums of money. Defendants lack privilege to make such statements. Defendant statements proximately cause the general and special damages suffered by Mr. Prescott and his business as quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, which are in excess of a minimum of the minimum jurisdictional limits. Again, we said that her letter didn't give us that much information. This is not giving us much information. In what way was his business as a quarterback damaged with the Dallas Cowboys by a letter going to Mississippi State? I'm not all the way on board with this one, Dak's attorneys. Let me know where you're going with this. But again, I don't know how sending a letter to Mississippi State affects his business with the Dallas Cowboys. Unless they sent it to the Dallas Cowboys too. Yeah, maybe. Maybe if they sent it to the Dallas Cowboys, then yeah. But sending it to Mississippi State, how does that affect his contract with Dallas? Questions that need answers. Some of the stuff, okay. Other things, not as strong. Not as strong as it could be. Okay. Then we have tortious interference with the current and prospective business relationships. Mr. Prescott currently has numerous relationships comprised of the current and future economic benefits in the form of profitable business contracts. Defendants were aware of the existence of these economic relationships and intended to interfere with and disrupt them, particularly ahead of the NFL's free agency period opening on March 13, 2024. Defendant's conduct was wrongful by a measure beyond the fact of the interference itself, and another typo, and such conduct was taken without justification or excuse. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's action, Mr. Prescott has and will continue to suffer economic harm, including but not loss of income, lost profits, and loss of opportunities. Okay, I need more facts. I read this and I was on his side, but now that I'm reading it on the stream, I need more facts. Again, how is letters going to a school that he no longer goes to? They're not promoting him. They're not saying, hey, come scout him at my school. But also he has these essay allegations, but it's okay. I don't see how that affects his contract. And that's why I say, and maybe I'm missing facts. Can you let me know if I'm missing facts? If he would have let her go public, I would be on board all the way with all of these claims. All of the causes of actions, I would be on board with. But from what it sounds like to me, is she wrote a letter, and he could have made it clear if she said it out loud. I think he would have said she said it out loud, but they said no, the letter was sent to the third party person at Mississippi State. They didn't say that she went public with it. So please correct me if I'm wrong on that. But if I am correct in that the letter only went to that third party, potentially, maybe not even, they had it addressed to that third party, but maybe it didn't actually go to that third party. I don't see how this causes interference because it just went to one private person. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Correct me. Did she go public with it? Did she go public with it? Because if she went public with it and she told everybody, then for sure, I would be on their side on all of these causes of action. But if she didn't go public with it, I'm only on their side with some of the causes of action. It's almost like kitchen sinking for me right now. If it's just that they send the letter to the third party. Okay, here we go. Civil conspiracy. Defendants have engaged in a civil conspiracy to extort, defame, disparage, and tortiously interfere with Mr. Prescott's existing and prospective contracts. Defendants had a meeting of the minds with known and unknown third parties to extort, defame, disparage, and tortiously interfere with Mr. Prescott's existing and prospective contracts. Again, a lot of the conversations between the defendants with the attorney, the Victoria, and then her two attorneys is going to be attorney-client privilege. So they're not even going to be able to get that information for a lot of the information they're going to be seeking as far as conspiring to commit this, conspiring to commit the fraud, right? They're not going to be able to get that information because it's protected by attorney-client privilege. Even if her attorney say, yeah, you should freaking do that, no one has to testify to that because of attorney-client privilege. So there's that. Defendants committed an unlawful overt act to further the let's see. Defendants committed an unlawful overt act to further the object or course of action, and Mr. Prescott has suffered injury as a proximate result of the wrongful act. Further, defendants willfully, intentionally, and knowingly agreed and conspired with others to engage in allege wrongful conduct. Defendants did the acts alleged pursuant to and in furtherance of the agreement and or furthered the conspiracy by cooperating, encouraging, ratifying, and or adopting the acts of others. As a direct and proximate cause of the Jeez, I can't read. As a direct and proximate result of the acts in furtherance of the conspiracy, Mr. Prescott has suffered injuries. Defendant's intentional agreement to commit and commission of these wrongful acts are willful, malicious, oppressive, and in conscious disregard of Mr. Prescott's rights, and he is therefore entitled to an award of punitive damages to punish their wrongful conduct and deter future wrongful conduct. Again, I don't think he's going to be able to prove this because it's going to be protected. It's going to be protected, privileged information. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Defendant's conduct in demanding $100 million and defendant's conduct in demanding $100 million in exchange for foregoing criminal charges or disclosure of information with intentional, reckless, extreme, and outrageous was intentional, reckless, extreme, and outrageous. Defendant's conduct proximately caused severe emotional distress to Mr. Prescott. He can probably win on that one. A lot of them I don't think he can win on. He wants actual damages. He has suffered and continues to suffer actual damages. Exemplary damages. The acts of defendants complained of herein were committed knowingly, willfully, intentionally, and with actual awareness and with actual malice. In order to hold defendants responsible for such unconscionable overreaching acts and to deter such actions and or omissions in the future, Mr. Prescott seeks recovery from defendants as provided in Chapter 41 of the Civil Code of Procedure. They are demanding a jury trial. This is notice that they intend to use all documents produced in response to written discovery and in any pretrial matter. The prayer for relief includes rendering a judgment in favor of plaintiff against defendants' claims, or against all defendants as to all claims. Sorry about that. Award plaintiff all damages to which he may be entitled to at law or in equity, whether actual, direct, consequential, general, special, or otherwise, in the amount to be proven at trial. Award plaintiff his reasonable and necessary attorney's fees, whether at law or in equity. Award exemplary damages. Award pre and post judgment interest at the maximum rates allowed by law. Award court costs and all other relief, whether at law or in equity, to which the plaintiff may be justly entitled to. So I was on his side, and then all those claims started coming in. All those claims started coming in. I was like, wait a minute. Yes, but no, you're not really going to get any money. Like, you will probably succeed on the claims, but are you going to get any money for it? I don't think so on a lot of them. We'll talk about it. Let's go ahead and jump into the chats. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think about the causes of the action, the facts, the claims, all the things. Both of them were very vague in what happened in this case. And like I said, I'm going to need to go and look at some more of the court documents to see if there's a little bit more information, because like I said, if the letter only went to this third party, then they're not going to win. Or they can succeed on the claim, but the damages are going to be nominal. You sent it to one person that has no effect over your contracts. And then the contract claims, I think, are going to be moot. I don't think those are strong arguments going to the Mississippi State person in athletics, unless they're like, yeah, we're not working with you anymore because you hired Dak Prescott and he SAs people. I just don't see how that interfered with his contracts. And maybe there's more information that I don't know about, but y'all let me know what y'all think about it. So other than that, I think that they succeed on the defamation, even if it only went to one person. That's still publication to a third party. One third party, only has to be one. I think he succeeds on the emotional distress for sure. I think he succeeds. We'll have to go through them all, but I think he succeeds on some and does not succeed on others, depending on what the facts are. Let's say that, depending on what the facts are. So Hello Swinky says, to be honest, that's a boss move. Bet let me go public for you. Yeah, I honestly wish he would have waited a little bit and let her go public, to tell you the truth, because then if he did, I would say he wins on all of these and he gets damages on all of these. That's what I would say. Kimmy Lockett says, hello Swinky, right? He said, today is not the day and I am not the one. I'm not the one, the two, or the three. None of them. I'm none of them. Okay. Stargazer Kawaii says, it's fine if the damages are low. She isn't going to be able to pay anything anyway. He made the best move. Okay. So you are okay with the just filing anyways. I just don't think he will succeed on a lot of the claims. So that at that point, I feel like it's kitchen sinking. And a lot of the claims are going to get dismissed, in my opinion. So I see where you're coming from, though, for sure. Stargazer Kawaii says, for future reference, I am dyslexic and constantly misspelling. That is okay. I cannot even speak, and you guys still listen to me, so I appreciate it. Okay? I am completely fine with it. Hello Swanky says, that's genius from a PR standpoint. Donate it instead of keeping the money. So freaking genius. I think that is a good idea as well. It supports who she is pretending to be, allegedly. Right? Because now that I'm thinking about it, maybe he didn't prove that her actual allegations were false, but maybe he proved that, you know, she's beyond the statute of limitations. So I'm gonna go back to allegedly until I see more documentation. So I think it's a genius move. He doesn't want the money. He's not being greedy. He just needs to clear his name, right? Stargazer Kawaii says, man, this man is smart and making so many good choices. I agree. Kimmy Locker says, don't forget to like the stream, BriHive. We're getting close to our goal. Oh, yeah, I completely forgot to check that out. What was the goal? 60? Was it 60 likes? Yeah. Oh, wait. Was it 60 or 65? I don't know. Either way it goes, we passed the like goal. So let me actually go ahead and jump over to that. I think our like goal was set 60 for the live stream, but I completely forgot. So y'all can remind me in the chat if y'all remember. Anyways, we hit our like goal. So shout out to the BriHive. As you know, we have a like goal animation that is a little loud at the beginning. So this is your warning to turn your volume down if you are sensitive to noise. We're going to play our like goal in 3, 2, 1. Yes, shout out to the BriHive for hitting the like goal. Definitely appreciate it. All right, and so let's see. Deacon Fatal gifted 5 Boss Attorney Brie memberships. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate it. I missed that while I was running my mouth, huh? Just yapping. That's all you do on the live stream, Brie. Thank you, Deacon Fatal, for gifting 5 Boss Attorney Brie memberships. I definitely appreciate it. For those of you who do not know, if you are a member of the live stream, and if you're at the BriHive level, you do get to come on to live streams with me once per month. So hopefully we get some of y'all in the next members a live stream. Okay, thank you again, Deacon Fatal. Hello, Swinky says, haha, Deeks out here flexion. Shout out to Deeks for MBB. Yes, we haven't done MBB in a long time. So on the list is Deacon Fatal for the MBB of the live stream. We got Zoe B. Zoe B saying, but what reputable lawyer is going to send it to an email? Why wouldn't they send it to his current representative that negotiated his NFL contract, or the Cowboys marketing office, or NFL commissioner? That is also good questions. Okay. Why didn't it send it to the NFL people? Because then potentially he could win on those business contract ones that I said that he's probably not going to do well on. There's one. 2, we as lawyers do send things by email. It is 2024. We don't always send things as letters. If you know who the person is represented by, we send demand letters via email a lot. It's not very uncommon for us to send email demand letters at this time and age. Maybe a couple years ago, sure. But now if you're sending it to the actual representative, like you're saying, that is completely normal. But to send it to his old college from 7 years ago, that is not common practice. So I agree with you there. Kimmy Locker says to Zoe B, they didn't send it to an email. It was addressed to a third party as Mississippi State University for some reason. It was addressed to an email address at Mississippi State. So let's go back to it. So yeah, that's right, Kimmy. It was addressed to Mississippi State, but it's saying that it was only sent via email. So that is what Zoe B is referring to. that it was sent only via email. I did not see an actual physical address that they sent it to. Okay, here. Okay, so no, they did. They sent it to Dak at this address that's blocked off. So both are right. Okay, so they sent it to Dak, but they also said they delivered it via electronic mail, meaning email, to this person at Athletic of Mississippi State .education. So essentially, they sent it to two people. It is a possibility that they never actually sent it via email and they only mailed it by they only sent it by mail. But I'm wondering who this was. Was it Dak's old email address, or was it just some random person in athletics at Mississippi State? That's what I would like to know. That is literally what I would like to know. So do you have an email address that it was sent to? Deacon Fatal says, I am confusion right now about which part. Deacon Fatal says, why did the letter go to a third party? I'm assuming maybe they thought it was his old email, because and honestly, guys, when we do letters like this, it will say delivered only by mail or email, or it might say mail and email, and then it'll have the email and then it'll have the address. This one has both, but it doesn't say only by email. So it's a possibility that they sent it both ways. They could have sent it just to this email address, or they could have sent it just mail, or they could have done both at the same time, which normally we do both at the same time, unless it says only by email, that's possible. We can do that. So I'm wondering how it went. I just need more information. We need more information. And my assumption would be that they just had the wrong email address. That's what my assumption would be. Kimmy Lockett says, isn't spreading false information to any third party considered defamation? And depending on who the third party is, I'm unsure. Maybe they have connections to the Cowboys. They should have put that in the complaint. If so, though. Exactly. You're completely right. Third party is anybody. It just has to be one person. But if it's going to someone that's not really affecting your business deals, which he probably does not have any business deals with Mississippi State at this point, he probably can't succeed on that. I agree. If they sent it to the Cowboys, then yeah, he could succeed on those other claims. And, especially if they threatened to fire him, or if they did fire him, right? But sending it to his old college is probably not going to do anything. And then if that person then spreads it, then sure, we have some little, we have some information, maybe we have some claims that come into play at that point, but there's no mention that this guy then sent it to this person and that person and that person, right? And even then it gets a little wishy-washy at that point, because at that point he wouldn't know that it's not true, right? Or whoever the person that received the email wouldn't know that it's not true. And so could we then extend what this guy then said after the letter was put out there to the original writers? And most of the time it is yes. We saw that in the Meghan Markle case with them alleging that, since she told them and then they published it, then Meghan Markle should be liable. It didn't work in Samantha's favor, but it is a theory that can be sued under. Hello Swanky says, don't forget to hit the like button, BriHive. Thank you for the reminder. I definitely appreciate it. B Take Sue says, with every contract, there is a morality clause. Potentially, I don't know if it's every contract, but they do try to put morality clauses into contracts. Kimmy Locker says to V Take Sue, that's a good point. Yeah, it depends on the contract, but in most, when you're talking about entertainment contracts, in most of them, they do have the morality clause in there. Just Me MD says to Take Sue, exactly, he has a lot to lose. But again, if it only went to a third party and that third party didn't say anything, that doesn't affect the contracts. I hope I'm making sense right there. So if that lady sent that email just to me, she said, boss attorney Bree, Dak Prescott essayed me. And I'm just looking at the letter and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? That does not affect Dak's contracts, because I haven't said anything to Dak. NFL doesn't even know about this letter. Only I have this letter, right? Only me. I'm the only person that has this letter at this point. So it doesn't affect his contracts. Now, let's go back to Lauren the Mortician. Oh, sorry, I'm little. Let's go back to Lauren the Mortician and Jeanette Braun lawsuit. where Lauren the mortician is saying, Kitty came out and said I was transphobic, right? She said I was transphobic. Discovery, or whoever her travel person is, I just assumed it was Discovery. It might not be Discovery. Discovery heard that and said, you know what, Lauren, I heard that you're transphobic, so I'm not going to work with you. Because Kitty put that on TikTok and it had millions and millions of views to then be sent to her travel agency, right? But if you're just sending it to Boss Attorney Bree, and Boss Attorney Bree doesn't go out and say, hey, Cowboys, look, Dak Prescott did this, there's no interference with his contract. I hope that makes sense. That's why I said if she would have came out and went to the Sun like Laura Owens, where Clayton's going to win on defamation and there was damages and he lost appearances and he lost real estate transactions, and she did report him to the real estate transaction thing, right? He actually lost business because of what she said and what she did, right? That's interference with contract. But just sending it to me and I have no contract with Dak, right? Maybe if he was still at the same sports agency and I worked at that sports agency and I got that letter and I was like, hey, boss, Dak is doing these things, we should drop him, then that would be interference with contract. I hope that makes sense now. I feel like I'm over explaining it now. Then that would be interference with contract. But just sending it to Boss Attorney Bree that's on YouTube and I have no say over whether Dak is getting paid or not, that's not interference with a business contract. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Stargazer Kawaii says he's not going to get any damages, but I'm not sure how much she has. If he let her go public, he may have had more damages that could be recovered. Exactly. So he's probably going to get nominal damages with with what was said to the third party, right? But he can win on the emotional distress because, oh, she's threatening me. Oh, I am now getting anxiety. I think somehow this is going to get to the NFL. I'm going to get fired from my team. I start, mentally not preparing well. I'm not doing good on the field. He can win on that. But for like defamation, the business contracts, all of those, I don't think that he's going to be able to prove some of those causes of action. And then I don't think he's going to get a lot of money on some of the causes of action. So exactly, I agree with you. Just Me MD says, and nowadays people are getting canceled for farting in public. Just Me MD. I would hope not. Okay. I really would hope not. Deacon Fatal, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it so much, saying I cannot express or explain anymore that I am too poor to worry about these rich people problems. We don't have the same issues. Agreed. I get it, but we need entertainment we can't talk about each other. Okay. Or I don't know if you guys seen all that stuff that's going on with Nick Rekieta. Some of the law tubers, YouTube lawyers, are talking about each other. And that's not very nice. I know we cover cases like that. Yeah. And I'm not even friends with Nick Rekieta. I'll be the first one to say it. But yeah, we can apparently talk about each other because some of us are getting in trouble. Right? So we have to talk about something though, Deacon Fatal. We do. Zoe V says, did she try to backdoor this public disclosure, hoping third party would leak it to the press, similar to Owen's game of I won't go public if you date me, while she already contacting the tabloids? That's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, it goes to a third party and then they leak it and then try to absolve them of some type of responsibility, but not really, because it could still link back to them. Deacon Fatal says, and thank you, Boss Attorney Bree, for putting on the closed captioning. No problem. If it can even understand what I say, the amount that I stutter, I don't even know if closed captioning picks up my actual words. Zoe B says, wait a minute, does Jeanette Braun have her hands in this somehow? No, I was just comparing it to Lauren the mortician saying that she lost business contracts because allegedly she did, right? But no, Jeanette Braun is not involved in this. Deacon Fatal says, thank you for the warning. No problem. BCC. Blind copy for sure. Yeah, if it went to more people, sure. Yeah, for sure. Zoe B says he may have been more motivated to negotiate a settlement to prevent harm to his reputation if it had been sent to Dallas Cowboys or the NFL. Yeah. And it would have gave him a little bit more backbone as far as alleging the damages in the case. Like, I think the million could probably work because he is an athlete, and maybe getting the mental help or like getting therapy for these threats that were put on to him would result in $1 million. So, and he's probably going to spend $1 million on attorney's fees too. So maybe $1 million is not a stretch for him, but at least it's not 100 million. Right. Kimmy Lockett says to Zoe B. Whoops, the complaint says the correspondence was addressed to a third party in Mississippi State University, and I completely missed the headline about being delivered via electronic mail. No problem. No problem. Jasmine MD says, but the third party could take it public, right? If the third party did take it public, they probably would not be liable against Dak for defamation because they probably would not have reason to know that it was not real or that it was a lie. And it can connect back to the person that disclosed the information in the first place. So like, for instance, if I went to TMZ and told them that Dak did these things, and then TMZ publishes it, it can then link back to me because, well, I got the information from boss attorney Bree and she's a lawyer. I had no reason not to believe her. So she should be sued for defamation, right? Because you published it to a third party, which resulted in it being published to a third party, and so on and so on and so on, right? You can't just spread a lie and put it in someone else's ear. And then when they start doing the telephone game, then throw your hands up and say, well, I'm not the one that went public. You can't do that. So there is remedies for that as well. So let me know what you guys think. Well, y'all already let me know what y'all think. I did my light and bad again today, so hopefully it doesn't look too crazy on YouTube today. But excuse me. I'm trying to think of words. I'm trying to think of words to say. I definitely want to cover some more of the documents because I think that will give us a little bit more information of what's going on in the case. But Kimmy did let me know that you do have to pay for the documents on this particular court because it's not federal. It's not a federal case. It's a state case. So we are going to have to pay for the documents, but that's okay. We have enough AdSense coming in to where we can get some more documents from the court to see what other information is in the case. Because I think it's really important to cover her cross complaint and then his motion to dismiss, because it's going to let us know under what theories the court decided to dismiss under, or that the court considered to dismiss under. And then maybe we'll get the order that the court determined to dismiss the frivolous claim. So I think that would be a good place to go next week so that we can see, sorry, y'all, I'm trying to get comfortable. I don't know why I keep saying, that's like really annoying me. It's really annoying me why I keep saying, So get more documents and cover it a little bit more so we can get more facts, because that complaint was sparse. The letter was sparse. I'm a little bit confused on what we even arguing about at this point, other than she's saying that she got SA'd in the back of an SUV. That's about all we got. We don't know how she disclosed it. Was it only sent to the third party via email? Was the third party email Dak's email? Did that third party email have forward because they were on vacation? Like, I need more information of how this thing got spread. How are we going to get the damages here? Okay. How are we? I think he got emotional distress. I think he has extortion, but I don't know. I really don't know if we have damages on the defamation, right? I think he can prove defamation if he can prove that the allegations are false. I think he can prove defamation, but I don't think he's going to get the damages. I just don't think he's going to get the damages. But y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments. I am done live streaming for the day. Yeah, we got done early. My throat's so dry, y'all. I need to look into the other cases that we talked about at the beginning of the live stream with Young Thug, freaking Courtney Clinty, and not so much Karen Reed, But we also got some new case suggestions as well that I'm going to look into and see if there's documents on that. And then, like I said, get the rest of the documents for this case to see where we are through motions and the shade that's in the motions, okay? Stargazer Kawaii says reporters still have to say allegedly. Yeah, I think we do have to say allegedly. I said it was been proven as fact, but I don't know what her claims were dismissed under. It could have been dismissed under statute of limitations. So I am going to say allegedly now, too, on this case. Zoe B says it's a third party up in here. Yeah. Third party to third party. Yes. Just Martin says came in late tonight. I don't know much about this case. Been in the Reed case for the last month. Well, this case is a little bit older, but we're just now getting into it. So we can start from the beginning together. We got Stargazer Kawaii says you can look up Samaya Thomas. I think I got that one before too. I think, Kimmy, are you making a list for us for the cases that we can look into? I think so. And then Kimmy Locker says, yes, got in on the list. Okay. Perfect, y'all. My nose is like really dry. I don't know if I'm getting allergies or what's going on right now. So I'm going to tap out of the live stream. I will see y'all all on the next live stream, which will be next week. I'm going to try to put out some shorts over the weekend. And then remember, guys, we are only streaming once per week. We have our MVP is Deacon Fatal, giving us 5 Boss Attorney Breed memberships and dropping a super chat for us. So shout out to Deacon Fatal for that. Shout out to you. We definitely appreciate the support on the channel. It's going to help us get some documents for this Dak Prescott case. And then y'all let me know what other cases you want to cover. It looks like we have like 3 cases that are community suggested so far. And maybe I need to put more, I do need to do more community tabs. So maybe we'll start doing some community tabs on what we should cover next. So anyways, I am out of here, y'all. I will see y'all all on the next slide.